Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devin Saraswatin Vyasam Tado Jayam Buddhayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Makam Karati Vachalam Pangam Langaite Girim Et Krupatva Mahamandi Sri Gurudintaram Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 4, text number 19. Cātur-hotraṁ karma śuddhaṁ. Cātur-hotraṁ karma śuddhaṁ. Prajānāṁ vīkṣya vaidikam. Prajānāṁ vīkṣya vaidikam. Vyadadhād yajña-santatyai. Vyadadhād yajña-santatyai. Vedam ekaṁ catur-vidham. Vedam ekaṁ catur-vidham. Odd meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Odd meaning, cātur for hotram, sacrificial fires. Karma śuddhaṁ, purification of work, prajānāṁ, of the people in general. Vīkṣya, after seeing, vaidikam, according to Vedic rites. Vyadadhād, made into yajña, sacrifice. Santatyai, to expand. Vedam, ekam, only one Veda. Catuḥ-vidham, in 4 divisions. Translations. He saw that the sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas were means by which the people's occupations could be purified. And so simply the process, he divided the one Veda into 4 in order to expand them among men. Purport. Formerly, there was only the Veda of the name Yajur. And the 4 divisions of sacrifices were there specifically mentioned. But to make them more easily performable, the Veda was divided into 4 divisions of sacrifice just to purify the occupational service of the 4 orders. Above the 4 Vedas, namely Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Atharva, there are the Purāṇas, the Mahābhārata, Samhitas, etc., which are known as the 5th Veda. Śrī Vyāsadeva and his many disciples were all historical personalities, and they were very kind and sympathetic toward the fallen souls of this age of Kali. As such, the Purāṇas and Mahābhārata were made from related historical facts which explained the teaching of the 4 Vedas. There is no point in doubting the authority of the Purāṇas and Mahābhārata as parts and parcels of the Vedas. In the Chāndogya Upaniṣad 7.1.4, the Purāṇas and Mahābhārata, generally known as histories, are mentioned as the 5th Veda, According to Śrīla Jīva Gosvāmī, that is the way of ascertaining the respective values of the revealed scriptures. Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakayam Chakshmurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapatagamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raguna Danvitam Tam Sajigam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padhan Sahagana Lalitacha Vishakanvitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostame Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhan Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Yevacha Patitanam Papanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So this is another verse relating to the how one Veda divided into 4 Vedas by Śrīla Vyāsadeva. Yesterday we had 2 verses together, and today we have one for 19. Cātur-hotraṁ karma śuddhaṁ. Śuddhaṁ means it is a purifying factor. Prajānāṁ vīkṣya vaidikam vyadadhād yajña-santatyai vedam ekam catur-vidham. So Śrīla Vyāsadeva, he saw that sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas were means by which the people's occupations could be purified. Occupations means this catur-vidham. And to simplify the process, he divided the one Veda into 4 in order to expand them among men. So the acharyas, they know what is the significance, how they can able to make this a simple method so that common people can be benefited, especially in this Kali Yuga. So formerly, there was only one Veda of the name yajña, and the 4 divisions of sacrifices were there specifically mentioned. But to make them more easily performable, the Veda was divided into 4 divisions of sacrifice. Why? It is just to purify the occupational service of the poorer. Many people, they may not be able to understand the Vedas and what is the essence of the Vedas, and it's very difficult for the common man. And acharyas, they can able to do that. For example, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he, for his disciples, he made them chant 64 rounds, and it is very difficult for us. So his own disciple, His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, when he went to US, he knew that the Western people, they cannot able to do 64 rounds. It's difficult for them. That's why Prabhupada, only Acharya can able to modify it. So he brought down to 16 rounds and no compromise. Why? Because in the Kali Yuga is advancing, people cannot be able to chant even 32 rounds or 64 rounds, and very difficult. So even 16 round chanting itself is difficult task for us. And we are running here and there, and we are picking up japa bag, and we are struggling a lot. So it may not be possible. It may not be practicable for people in this age of Kali, because they have so many occupations, they have so many engagements, and time is running. They are working very hard. So in spite of all these struggles, the acharyas, they have devised a means so that the people can able to take up this Krishna consciousness. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he invented just to give this chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and no need to study any other Vedas. So when the same Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there in Dwapara Yuga, he appeared Sakshat Krishna directly, and he gave Bhagavad Gita. But the same Supreme Lord appeared in Kali Yuga as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he did not give any Veda, he did not even give any Gita or any other thing. he simply gave 8 verses, that is a Sikshastakam. If anybody is reading, understanding, and following Sikshastakam, that is also all in all. Why? Because people are unable to read Sanskrit. No, first of all, nobody knows Sanskrit, what to talk about reading and what to talk about, assimilating and trying to understand this Vedas, very difficult for them. That's why this simplification is meant. Srila Prabhupada has sacrificed his whole life by translating Gita and Bhagavatam and other sastras, and he enjoined in the Gita itself, so that we can find a cross-reference and our doubts are clarified. So moving forward here, that is the 5th Veda is also mentioned here. That is Mahabharata and some Samhitas, which are known as the 5th Veda. Śrīla Vyāsadeva and his many disciples were all historical personalities. Normally in our textbooks from 1st standard to 10th standard, we studied about how British people invaded India, and before them how Mughals have invaded and how they ruled, what was their kingdom, what were their rulings. All those things we were forced to learn in the textbooks. And unfortunately, we were not aware of Bhagavad Gita as it is, and Mahabharata. These are only we are seeing in the cinemas, because we are addicted to cinemas and TV serials, and we are trying to see, and whatever the cinema director, he makes it for his own advantage, just to make cash from the public. He makes some gimmicks there. Even he can alter the Mahabharata also, and he can make Duryodhana also hero. So this is all cheating. So we should never believe whatever there in the cinemas and TV serials and other magazines and other social media. We should never rely on that unless otherwise it is pakka authorized. So we need to read Bhagavad Gita as it is, and Srimad Bhagavatam as translated by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. In that way, we are supposed to assimilate it, and not by watching a movie. And their Krishna role was also changed. Duryodhana, Karna, they became heroes of Mahabharata, whereas the real meaning is, the Krishna and Arjuna and Pandavas, they fought against adharma and they became victorious. This is the essence. These simple things, they are twisting and changing in so many ways. But in Śrīla Vyāsadeva, he struggled very hard, and he was empowered. He was a Shaktavesha avatara of the Supreme Lord, Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasya. And he gave this knowledge to many of his disciples, hoping that and they also spread this wonderful message to the general public, because they were very kind. They are paradukka dukki, and they are very sympathetic, because we are struggling and rotting a lot in this material world, changing so many bodies, and Kali Yuga is full of faults, and nobody you can find pakka perfect person. Every man is imperfect. So that's why we became a fallen souls of this age of Kali. As such, the Purāṇas and Mahābhāratas were made related historical facts which explain the teachings of 4 Vedas. But we are unable to read the 4 Vedas. It's very difficult for us. And first of all, we don't know the Sanskrit. But Srila Prabhupada translated in English, so that at least we can able to read. So another point mentioned here, there is no point in doubting the authority of the Purāṇas. This is very, very important. We should never doubt the Purāṇas, because it all emanated from the Supreme Lord himself through his representatives. So in here, Prabhupada is giving a wonderful cross-reference, is Chāndogya Upaniṣad. That means in there it is mentioned that Purāṇas and Mahābhārata generally known as the histories. But normally we are very much aware and addicted to this kind of Indian history or British history, European history. We keep reading these histories. These histories, if properly taken into account genealogically, then it is correct. But if take fake history, if you create, and that does not have any spiritual value. So still Jiva Goswami, he has brought into the revelation. That is the way of ascertaining respective values, the revealed scriptures. Scriptures are very wonderful. On our own, we cannot able to understand. We must approach a spiritual master and surrender him. Then the spiritual master will tell Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam so that we can able to understand it here. And why we should not doubt, that means here one reference is there. Can you able to see 1623? Yes, Shastra Vidyam Ustrajya Vartate Kamakarataha. Nasha Siddhim Avapnoti Nashakam Na Param Gatim. What does it mean? It means that he who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. Yeah, Navap here, Nasa Siddhim Avapnoti Na Shukam. He does not have any Shukam and he does not get any Param Gatim also. Why? Because he is simply discarding the scriptural injunctions and he is not believing that. So as described before, the Shastra Vidhi or the direction of the Shastra is given to the different castes and orders of human society. Everyone is expected to follow these rules and regulations. But the fanatic thing is, whatever the society makes the rules and regulations, we are blindly following. Whatever, one small organization, make a union or association, and we are so happily blindly following because it suits our needs of sense gratification. That's why we can be able to easily follow. But at the same time, when the traffic rules are there and when there is a proper discipline is mentioned and we don't want to follow, even there is a red signal, we jump. And when there is a one way, we go as a two-way. This way also we can able to comfort our sense gratification. So actually, if anybody can follow these rules and regulations, they can lead a peaceful life. Similarly, who follows these shastras, they can also have very peace of mind in their life, and also they can have paramagatim as per this 1623 words in Bhagavad Gita. So in other words, a man theoretically know all these things, but if he does not apply them in his own life, then he is to be known as the lowest of mankind, Naradhama. In the human form of life, a living entity is expected to be sane and to follow the regulations given for elevating his life to the highest platform. But if he does not follow them, then he degrades himself. But even if he follows the rules and regulations and moral principles, and ultimately does not come to the stage of understanding the Supreme Lord, then all his knowledge becomes spoiled. Maybe just like, many times we refer that analogy, a driver with a nice car, he's traveling, he's making journey within the city, and wherever there is a red, he stops, green, he moves, he gives all the directions, perfect. But someone asks him, where are you going? He says, I don't know. That means he's failed getting to know his destination. That's why even if you follow niti, moral principles, and following all society rules and regulations, but if you do not able to understand the Supreme Lord Krishna, then all your attempts are big failure. That's what Prabhupada mentions here. Okay, fine then. And ascending the glories and descending the mercy. How to understand this? Ascending the service. Actually, we are supposed to do our prayers and service, from Guru Parampara itself, and we have to go ascend like from bottom to the top. Then after getting pleased by their lordships or Guru and others, the blessings come down. This is the proper way of bhakti yoga. And it's not that directly we worship the top person and, it is so difficult for us. We cannot be able to do that. And the revelation also does not happen. Revelation happens when you humbly serve your spiritual master and the Vaishnavas, then revelation comes to you gradually. It is a gradual process, actually. It is not that all of a sudden Overnight you become a devotee, and next day you shave your head and you keep a shika, and you become a wonderful devotee. That does not happen, because from time immemorial we have this soul had taken so many bodies, and it is not serving the Supreme Lord and devotees properly. And somehow or the other, this birth we came to know that who am I, and who the Supreme Lord, what is the relationship. Then if you work accordingly, then revelation, the blessings, the mercy, everything will come in place. Now, parents, these days parents also sending their kids for high-tech schools and colleges for high-tech education, but they do not know what is the high-tech tattva of Gita and Bhagavatam. And ignoring this fact, simply they are engrossed in the material education. They want their children to become, IITs or IAS, IPS, IRS. And this is simply, waste of knowledge and waste of time. Like it is adding so many zeros without prefixing one. That one is Krishna. If that does not happen, all the degrees are a big 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 only. So Srila Prabhupada, some time back, somebody asked, Prabhupada, there are so many other Bhagavad Gitas here, why again our Bhagavad Gita? Then Prabhupada said, all others, they are all bogus. They are not devotees. To suit their needs and sense gratification, they write on their own whimsical writings. And even if people read it, they cannot become devotees, because the person who wrote it is not a devotee. How he can make others devotee by his writing? That is the understanding. That's why Śrīla Prabhupada said, this is Bhagavad Gita as it is, yajña-santatyai. By reading this, anybody can become a devotee, because there is no manipulations there. There are no additions, there are no deletions. As it is, 18 chapters, 700 slokas. And what Krishna exactly said, the same is mentioned there. That's why today Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is famous, worldwide. People are reading in Western countries and European countries. They became nice devotees. Now we can see in Mayapur, Vrindavan, or in our ISKCON centers, citizens from all walks of life and different nations, they come and they chant the holy name of the Lord. And they follow 4 regulatory principles also. This is a wonderful thing which Prabhupada made worldwide. So this morning today we are coming and discussing means this is the program designed by Srila Prabhupada, morning Mangalarati, 4:30. Even it is in a Moscow, chilly weather, -degrees temperature, does not matter. You have to perform Mangalarati. And even if it is a hot sun, we are supposed to do Mangalarati also. And so philosophy and practical activity all clubbed together, Srila Prabhupada has given this package for us. So like morning waking up is very difficult. Solution is go to bed early. That is only a solution, no other alternate for this. And this has been designed by Srila Prabhupada. And also another thing is Sunday feast. Sunday is being a holiday. All the people, they have to come to the temple or Bhakti center, and they are supposed to get together and read and hear Srimad Bhagavatam and associate with like-minded people. In this way, we can get purified. Otherwise, there are many other karmi people also. They also wake up early in the morning, some of them. But their goal is not to hear Gita or Bhagavatam. What is their goal? They go for jogging or swimming or horse riding or surfing. So many other activities they go. Then they also meet like-minded people. Fine. Then what is the difference? We also get up early in the morning. They also get up early in the morning. What is the difference? The difference is their destination to remain in this material world and degrading the soul into the various lower species. And our destination is Golok Vrindavan. We don't have to suffer coming back again here. So that is the difference. This way, even Jīva Gosvāmī also in his Tattva Sandarbha, he has very detailedly mentioned why these scriptures are very authoritative, why we should agree and follow into our life. So if anybody interested, also they can read Tattva Sandarbha of Śrīla Jīva Gosvāmī. So going back and having a small review on this, Śrīla Prabhupada here, he mentions that cātur-hotraṁ karma śuddhaṁ means Śrīla Vyāsadeva, like, one Yajur-veda, he divided into 4 Vedas. And just like it is, easy to understand, where people can dwell into one particular Veda and they can easily able to assimilate through Guru Parampara. And in this way, people can purify their existence in this material world. Okay, thank you very much for giving me one more opportunity. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Okay, Prabhu, you can stop recording.
Thank you, Krishna.